teaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore. If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf violent? He wasn't teaching hate. He was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of it. Of the fact that he might swing back, so they said, "No, he's teaching hate. He's violent."
There are too many American people that are on SNAP benefits, but that means that you got to not look necessarily at SNAP. You got to look at the reasons that they're on SNAP. We know that over 1/4 of these people that are in receipt of SNAP benefits are actually the working poor in this country, right? We have not increased the minimum wage, and I don't know when, and the minimum wage still sits at $7 while everything else is going up, whether we're talking about the cost of food or whether we're talking about the cost of rent or whether we're talking about the cost to actually try to engage in home ownership, if we're talking about the interest rates. And we know that under the failed leadership of this administration, this country has seen a loss of 1 million jobs, and that's just in the first few months. He's not even had a full year. So no, we need to work on economic policies that will put people into a position in which they are not the working poor, where they are still needing the $6 a day to eat. So yes, we need to talk about it, but I don't think that SNAP is the problem. I think that that is the resolution, or at least that is a symptom of the problem. We have a bigger problem in which we have billionaires that are continuing to rise up every single day and are getting richer and richer, to the extent that there was talk about Elon becoming a trillionaire, the first one in this country or in the world. Yet we still have people that have to go to the food bank and go to work.
All right, y'all. So that's one of the things that honestly was a key discussion, honestly, with these SNAP benefits, with this intergovernmental system and how it's truly operating right now. We have to have an understanding and come to grips with, honestly, we can't always rely on daddy government. Now, a lot of you have already known that. Some of you, honestly, have built homesteads, and you may have been even inspired by Dowell and the way that he has developed his own land. Honestly, it's inspirational until you meet the individual and you start to peel back the layers of them and you see the wickedness that they're operating under. And it's like, yo, this almost was a great thing, right? Leaves you a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. But this particular reliable, credible source has come through and has let me know what the reality of the truth is. That a lot of individuals there in Tennessee, on the land in Tennessee, are equipped with SNAP. They have food stamps, right? Now, this particular reliable source, I have not really talked about it. There's no real reason or reason for me to talk about it, but now aligned with recent events, it's definitely a reason for me to talk about this. It's because, you know, when you go to these feast days, when you go to certain things, of course, they don't have enough cattle to feed hundreds of people, right, that show up to the feast day. Of course, they're going to have to outsource that, go to grocery stores and pick up groceries to prepare meals for everyone. SNAP EBT is something that is heavily relied on in Tennessee. Now, my thing is this, right? Like I said, this reliable source has come with this information, told me the information. This is how they're paying for their groceries. The bulk of their groceries come from SNAP benefits. How is that affecting you on the land now? When you're having conversations in regards to money, right? And you're having money conversations, yes, this will be an issue. This will be a major issue, right? Because, you know, if you lose those benefits, then you have no other choice but to rely on whatever you can produce, right? And we know currently now that Dowell himself, he is not somebody who owns a few businesses that are doing well for themselves or owns a business that's doing well for itself. The only business that he owns is his ministry, right? And we know that it's a tax exempt business on a tax exempt status. You understand what I'm saying? So since we understand these things, that is the only thing he has to rely on is the people. The people are the only things that he can rely on, that he can entrust in, that he believes that we know for sure would have to come through in times like this. Or he just have to rely on the team that he sourced, okay? And that's the truth. We have to understand and know, right, is that when it comes down to that, he's going to always approach it in a certain way. The way that he needs to approach it is going to have to be thought through. It's going to have to be reliable. The people are going to have to be more than willing to be used on a financial level that they may not even be comfortable with during these times. Now, like I said, of course, since they are heavily relying on daddy government, they're relying on the way that they delegate issues or problems in Israel. They rely on a lot from daddy government. You got to understand. He's not telling you to effectively leave the system so you can be self-sufficient. He's technically telling you to leave the system so you can go under his rule, so he can be able to dictate and determine what he wants you to do. And you can be able to move on his frequency and be able to be manipulated, controlled, losing all autonomy, something that's completely unnatural for our design, for our basic design. We were designed perfectly. Okay, y'all. We were designed perfectly in a way of perfection. And the reason why we were designed perfectly is because we had autonomy. When the Most High designed us, he gave us autonomy. And that's the reason why we were made perfect, because we can choose, we can make choices, and we can be able to be individual thinkers, right? And effectively in this ministry and other groups, right, that are cult-like environments, you are stripped totally and completely from all autonomy. You won't be able to think for yourself. In fact, you'll be operating out of complete and total fear, just as we know this widow who gave Dowell over $100,000. She was operating in fear, giving it through fear that she would be slandered, be talked bad about. These things is what drove her to want to give that, in which he effectively addressed none of it. Okay, y'all. He effectively addressed none of it. You understand what I'm saying? Rice, beans, canned peaches, bound attempt, Straitway. Yeah. You got to rely on other sources to be able to feed, right? You can't rely on certain things. You got to rely on other sources now, y'all. So, and that's one of the biggest things that we got to know, right? We got to know that this is what sustains them. He's not going to come on here and tell you the truth about SNAP benefits and EBT, and him and a lot of his community members are on SNAP, on EBT, having that government assistance, all while telling you to come out of her, my people, right? Be ye separate, come out from among them, sell all you have and give it to Dowell. He's not going to tell you anything when it comes to this, right? A lot of these cult leaders, a lot of these individuals who want to control and manipulate you aren't going to tell you that they're having assistance and help from daddy government. I mean, why would they? They want to be reigning supreme. They want to be the creme de la creme. They want to be the ones like they got it all put together. But listen, honestly, tell the truth. If they don't have enough to sustain their own self and others, then of course they're not on the level that they want to make you believe that they're on. Okay. They're not on that level to where they're self-sufficient enough to sustain themselves and you if you were to show up at their gate. In fact, if STF truly does happen, the last place you'll want to show up is one of these cult leaders' gates, one of these cult members, cult leaders, one of these individuals like Dowell. That's the last place you want to find yourself. That's the last place you want to show up. In fact, you need to be led wherever the Father wants to lead you, right? And it's not going to be to somebody's arms. It's going to be where it's going to be safe, right? Where people are going to operate on the right frequency and on the right level, right? I know for a fact the Goshen was loaded full of cards. Daniel would come in with 4 or 5 of them to buy food at my store. Yeah. And then we have another confirmation. SNAP, EBT. A lot of these people are taking advantage. I'm wondering how they're faring now that SNAP and EBT has been pulled. And so since it's been pulled for a while, they're going to reinstate it soon. I'm wondering how a lot of these individuals at Straitway are faring. How are they going to make it by? I know that they're growing food and they got the cattle, things like that. But listen, it's going to be a tight month. You get what I'm saying? Until they release. And like I said, it's not the government shutdown, y'all. It's the government's benefits shutdown. Honestly, tell you the truth, like a lot of what she said, it's true benefits. How's it truly benefiting us? Now, don't get me wrong. We should be mapping out roadmaps to getting people who need SNAP and EBT off of it, right? We should be able to help them with doing that. But also, people who truly need it should have it. And I'm curious as to why these individuals who are a part of Straitway, right, who have their own communities and many men, right, to go out and work, they always claim, hey, I'm working, too busy working, work. Well, y'all should be making some money too, to where y'all don't need daddy government. Y'all don't need daddy government to be able to provide for you, right? You wouldn't need daddy government, right? If that's the case. You got all these people, all these men working, but yet we got Elder Chris Paul here who's saying Daniel Muir pulling out multiple different food stamp cards to purchase groceries, to purchase food, right? They'll tell you that this is a smart move to make, to utilize the government in the ways that you should. You get what I'm saying? To take advantage of the benefits that the government wants to give you. Well, I mean, I remember a rhetoric it was a while back of an old school Dowell saying that the government right there can have decision-making power in what you're doing, control in what you're doing, and to limit the control and decision-making power coming from daddy government. All while now, the same individual that we're looking at is got EBT, SNAP. He's a 501c3, fully sold out to the system type of individual. But all while telling you to come out of her, my people, so he can be able to tap into your resources, tap into what you have to offer, things like that. I believe that's hypocrisy, right? I believe we're hiding the truth from the people. You understand what I'm saying? And a sad situation will take place if you start to begin to trust that, right? There's two other cults out there that are also goofy. One is led by a glutton in Arizona and another in the South that wants people to alkaline foods. Yeah. That's definitely something to talk about. Clarksville did the same thing with EBT at the store. Yeah. So we're relying on daddy government. We're relying on daddy government, but they're not going to come out and be honest about that, right? So why not lead with that? Take advantage of the government. I remember somebody spoke about it before, but they don't tell you that side. They don't tell you that truth. Hey, we heavily rely on daddy government to be able to provide a lot of things that we need inside of this community, right? They rely on daddy government. So all while you're out here working by the sweat of your brow, and these individuals are judging you as a man, right? They have daddy government helping subsidize a lot of things that they have to purchase at the grocery store. You understand what I'm saying? So they probably spend upwards to nothing at grocery stores if they got so many individuals with SNAP EBT, not to mention single mothers, right, with little ones, with children who can go out and apply for SNAP EBT. That's upwards to $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 in some cases, whatever it may be, in just food benefits. So even if you don't come with something, even if you don't have something, you have some sort of value as a single mother with children. Okay. You can go out and you can get EBT. You can go out and get SNAP benefits. You can go out and get these benefits and provide it to the community, right? And buy and purchase for the community. Listen, when you're honest about it, it hits different from when you're hiding from it. When you're hiding from it and you're being extremely judgmental of others and their living situation, right? That's something totally different. Totally different. But you're being judgmental of others' living situation. You know, I heard how he talked about brother Abraham from Australia. But your community is ran on SNAP. Your communities ran on EBT. Your communities are ran on daddy government. But you want to be judgmental towards a man who's doing what he needs to do to survive and make it better for himself and his family. Right? All while trying to take his wife and children away from him. Why? Because they can be able to come in, produce an EBT SNAP if they apply for it, and they can be able to get that for the community. You got young children that's going to be able to be backbreakers for the community, working like slaves, be indoctrinated into becoming straightway slaves. Some of these young children that were grew up and raised in Straitway hadn't left Straitway, even though their parents left Straitway. They still there at Straitway. You know why? Because they've been indoctrinated through Straitway. You understand what I'm saying? They've been indoctrinated. So even though the parents have seen the light and they saw the wickedness and the levels of lies and deception that comes from this cult, they still hold door for this particular cult and rebelling against and not honoring their mother and their father in decision making, right? They keep men busy and the women exposed to Predator Dowell, Kabir, and others. Listen, these individuals are predators. You got to know that, right? People who have no real conscience, right, in regards to how they treat women and treating them like they're disposable objects, right? Instead of treating them with love and respect, challenging them in ways, right? Understanding, rebuke, reprove, and how that should be carried out and handled. These individuals will literally take advantage of them, right? Literally treat them like they're nothing. Call them disingenuous bitches. Call them out their name totally and completely. Utilize them for what they can produce and then throw them to the wolves, throw them to the wayside when they're not producing anything, when they're not able to do the things that they're being asked, right? These women are literally sacrificing their families in order to be able to accommodate a lot of these individuals. And like I said, through SNAP, EBT, all these other things, listen, these individuals are sustaining the communities by going out, right? These single mothers, single women who are still a part of Straitway are going out, securing SNAP EBT for these communities and sustaining them, right? With hopes of being married into one of the families or finding a man that's a part of Straitway to be able to cover them. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is all left up to Dowell to make a decision. Yeah, you already know that we have to do a thorough investigation on the situation and the matter. And when I tell you that when these things are taking place, right? And I tell you that this is what's going on, I'm not telling you this for any other reason other than just to bring forth a bit of truth. I want you guys to know that, even though that this is what's going on, even though that people hear about the truth, they still choose to ignore the truth. They still choose to say, you know what? I'm not worried about it. Bump the truth. I want to be lied to. I want to be lied to. I want to be manipulated. I want to be coerced into things because I want to spot or position a part of this camp. I want to hold a position of authority. And it's kind of sad, right? Because you fall into man worship in order to gain anything, right? In order to gain anything, you fall into having to do man worship, to man pleasing, man worship. And honestly, it's not a healthy environment to be in. All while you got people who speak almost as though it's bad, right? Because for us to speak on these matters, to shed light on a lot of these matters, they try to act like we're doing the wrong thing. They try to act like we're doing the wrong thing. Well, if we're being honest and we're being truthful, just because I got the call and you didn't get the call, it does not mean that it should not be done, right? That we all should be able to walk away from situations and stop shedding light on people who wish to take advantage of people who just want to please and worship the Father. There's nothing wrong with that. There's individuals out here who want to take advantage of you for that desire, though. And so that's what we need to address. And we need to nip that in the bud. Get rid of the people who are wolves in sheep's clothing. Make sure you understand that you can be able to fall victim to a lot of these situations, right? Man, let's get into it. We're going to bring some scripture too, y'all. We're going to bring some scripture too, right? So now my thing is this, right? These false receipts, this situation as a case, as these cases go, not to gossip, right? We're not going to be gossiping, but to just highlight some of these key problems and key issues, to highlight them, how often the proof is used to for performance. It's very performance based. They're using a lot of what they do based on their performance to be able to woo you, to show you something, whatever it may be, right? We're going to go ahead and dive into 2 Corinthians 11:13 through 15. Let's get 2 Corinthians. And I want you guys to take this and carry this with you as we go through the topics today. Okay. As we go through the topics today, before we dive into this video to review, I want you guys to carry this with you. 2 Corinthians 11:13 through 15. All right. 11:13 through 15. We got that. All right. I'm going to show you guys my screen and we're going to get into it. All right. So 2 Corinthians 11:13 through 15. Let me remove that real quick. Add this. All right. Bam. I just want you guys to be able to see it better. Okay. All right. 2 Corinthians 13. 2 Corinthians 11:13 through 15. Right. And the priests and the Levites. Hold on a sec. That's the wrong one. 2 Corinthians 11:13. There we go. For such are a false apostle, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. These individuals that Paul is speaking about, right? False apostles, deceitful workers, right? Transforming themselves into apostles of light. You got to understand that he is even dealing with these individuals during his time. During his time, he's dealing with individuals who are workers, right? Workers, right? Deceitful workers who have transformed themselves into apostles of light. When you're dealing with these types of individuals, there's no way that you can be able to say that these people don't look holy, that they're not looking righteous, that outwardly they appear to be and adorned to be, they appear to be holy, they appear to be righteous, they appear to be doing what the book tells them to do. They appear to be doing everything that is necessary, pursuant to whatever the scriptures say. But these are ways to lure you into a particular trap, a trap to where they are also false apostles. They sound like they know the word, just as the book says that these individuals know the word just as well as you do. A lot of them better. You got to understand that they've given themselves over to the works of Satan. You got to know when and identify when a false apostle, okay, a false teacher, pastor, brother, whatever it may be that you're dealing with, when they're operating in falsehood. We know for sure that Yeshua, everybody can be in agreement with this, right? That Yeshua came, and when he did come, he came unto the sinners, not unto the righteous. So the individuals who claim and boast about being righteous, right? All while trying to make it appear as though they're humble. Listen, they boast about being righteous in their own self-glorification for simple reasons. There's not conversations about their failures, their mistakes, and the ways that they can grow. They don't tell you about how to truly take advantage of what your power truly is. They only wish to use it to manipulate, control you so they can keep preeminence over you, right? These individuals, you identify them and you let others know who they are, what their true colors are. You don't just sit back and watch it take place. Okay, let's continue. And no marvel, right? And no marvel, for Satan himself is what? Transformed into an angel of light. Transformed into an angel of light. People think it's the devil horns and then the Satan's ugly. You know, he's devil horn. No, Satan is a very beautiful angel. Gorgeous. You would think that if you were to have went to sleep and you dreamt, you seen Satan, right, in a dream, you would believe it to be Christ. And he will lie to you and tell you oh yeah, I am Christ. He will lie to you and tell you, because when you're looking for Satan, you're looking for somebody obvious with devil horns, with red skin, with a pitchfork, with a tail. You're looking for all of those signs, right? Where you're not going to see that with Satan. You're going to see him appear as an angel of light. You're going to see him appear almost as though he is Christ-like. You're going to see him appear as though he's holy. He's going to appear all of these different ways, but honestly, his works is not going to line up. They're just not. They're going to sound good. They're going to talk a great game. He's going to manipulate you in so much. He wants to sign over your life, your livelihood, and everything you represent in order to serve him. And this is what he's going to do. He's going to pursue you to give over your what? Autonomy. Because you got to understand that Satan, when he appears as an angel of light, you got to know he's not doing it to help you. He's not doing it to make you feel like you're able to make sound choices and decisions based on what the Holy Spirit is leading you to in all righteousness. No, he's making you comfortable. He's making you familiar, right? He's making you receive him in his deception. He can't come to you in the true nature and the form that he really is, right? And make himself to be too obvious like an atheist or like a Satanist would. You understand what I'm saying? Just be out there. At least they're living their truth. At least they're all the way cold, right? They're not on fire for the Father. They're all the way cold. You can identify these people. These people, you can hear how they talk, how they walk, how they move. But the individuals who wants or chooses to deceive you, right? You can't always identify them. It takes you a bit of true discernment. So he's not going to come to you like one of these people who are obvious. He's going to amass himself a great following, and he's going to be looking to take advantage of those saints. He's going to be looking to lean heavy, not only on daddy government, but lean heavy on the saints to pay his way, right? He's not looking for certain things. So you got to know when somebody talks a big game, but you see receipts of them taking advantage of the widows, taking advantage of the elderly. Just because a sister is receiving $10,000 a month, Dowell, don't mean that you just move her onto the land and bypass all of the checks and balances before you do. You see that this older woman is earning $10,000 a month, and you just move her onto your land because you want that check. You quick to do it. This is the type of behavior that you'd identify. And yes, this is a accurate thing. This is from a credible source that he's moved an elderly woman onto his land because one of the biggest reasons is that she could bring some value. Whereas to where he tells Pastor Rufus, don't move any elderly people onto your land because they become more of a burden than they are a blessing. Well, he has no issues with moving you onto the land if you're elderly, if you're able to bring him $10K a month, right? In profit. So when we're identifying this, right, sounds good, sounds like an angel of light, sounds like somebody, but listen, truthfully, underneath all of that is a bunch of fluff. And honestly, he's a worker of iniquity, right? An agent of Satan. Let's keep it real. You understand what I'm saying? Straitway will buy 4,000 to 6,000 pounds of chicken a year from our store. Saints believed it was raised on the land. You know, and that's one thing that they never truly distinguished the difference between when they've raised their own chickens, and now the saints are eating that chicken, right? To where they've went and store bought it, and they've made it very well known. Like, listen, this is store bought. You know what I mean? But it's always like a real misunderstanding. You think you're eating something that comes straight from the land, but truly, nah. SNAP EBT. You got Elder Chris Paul here telling you himself. He's witnessed it. They came to a store and was purchasing a lot of things from there using SNAP EBT, food stamps. All of this stuff being produced by daddy government. This is Straitway Truth Ministries. This is how they operate. Listen, my thing is that they're not going to make it very well known to you, right? that this is the way that they're moving. They're going to try to make you feel like that. Oh, we're all men. We do this, we do that, and we strapping up from our bootstraps and this, that, and the third. Where Dowell, of course, had to rely on RG Stair in order to get his start. He's not going to tell you, a man who's trying to be a part of his ministry, who's struggling right now, trying to make ends meet for his family, while he's degrading and beating you down and trying to, you know what I'm saying, push you to work harder so he can get more of your money, get more access to your funds, your resources. He's not going to tell you that he don't work, that he doesn't have to worry about working because he's too busy relying on the saints to provide for him, right? He's relying on the saints. He's relying on daddy government. He's relying on everybody else other than the Most High in his own hands to build a business, to build a viable business that will sustain his own community, right? You got enough people who go out and work 9 to 5. You need to transition those people into your own business. There's no reason why a community leader should not be able to profit or to form their own corporation and business and have great profit coming from how many men that live on your land. It's a great opportunity to start a business and to have people be self-sufficient, completely separated from daddy government. It just is what it is, right? But we're talking about the level of deception. Therefore, it is no great thing if this minister also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, okay? Whose end shall be according to their works. Whose end shall be according to their works. Honestly, I remember saying a couple things, y'all. I said that the same tool that's being used to build that ministry will be the same tool that y'all will use to tear it down, right? And effectively, we've seen that take place. We've seen it happen to where now Yah has used the same tool that he's helped him build this ministry with to expose him, to reveal the truth, to peel back the layers of the truth, right? And where individuals said that their life is transparent, you understand what I'm saying? That they are open book, easily be read of all men. We soon find out that honestly, there's a lot of skeletons in those closets. There's a lot of individuals who may leave disgruntled, right? And you're trying to find reasons to discredit their accusations against you and your ministry, right? And this goes for anybody who's taking advantage or taking the lead or trying to do whatever they're doing in a cult-like environment, in a cult-like setting. Honestly, they're doing the same tactics, right? All right, let's continue. My thing is this. I want to go over this particular video, y'all, because I believe this is important to hear with our own ears. Now, my thing is that he's going, Dowell, I'm leading in with this because he's going to tell you something different. He's going to try to convince you that, of course, people who are shining light and shedding light on this particular situation with him stealing from widows or mistreating the widows, it tells you the person's true character. It's not about anything else other than you revealing and really knowing the person's true character, right? Because these widows want you to know. That's the only reason why it's been brought public. They want you to know the individual's true character. And, for the people who are helping shed light on how he treats the widows in this community, even though the word teaches you how you should treat them, how you should respect them, honor them, and also provide for the widow, even though that they've taught you this, the book teaches you this, they're doing complete opposite, and they're justifying why they can do it. I honestly think it's sad. But we're going to get into this thing real quick. I know I'm loading kind of slow. My great uncle was blacksmithing back in the Great Depression and taught me in the 80s. Oh yeah, blacksmithing, yes sir. Great in the 80s during the Great Depression. That's tough. And blacksmithing is rough work. It's not easy work at all. For sure. For sure. Not easy work at all, especially during the Great Depression, y'all. And we got to know, like, when we got community that's kind of relying on daddy government, right? But they refuse to tell you that this is what they're doing. Then we know for a fact that when STF takes place, then that key factor, right, is going to be lost. And I'm curious how these communities are faring without daddy government. Like I said, this is not the government shutdown. It's the government benefits shutdown. And this is the reason why the Democrats are usually blamed for the shutdown. They blame for the shutdown because of the simple fact that it's benefits. The Democratic Party is always going to offer you benefits and privileges, right? Whereas to where the Republican Party is going to offer you a level of self-sufficiency, to be self-sufficient in the world, right? And we a lot of us in the Black community frame this as they're against us. They don't want us to be successful. They don't want us to succeed. All while the Democratic Party has taught you this, right? Truthfully, when you're accepting benefits and privileges, that is teaching you to be a part of the hamster wheel. That is teaching you to be a part of the system. That is teaching you to be fully integrated. And the system don't need people who want to be successful. They want people who want to be controlled. You understand what I'm saying? So they don't want you, if you want to be successful, a part of the Democratic Party. They want you to be a part of the Democratic Party if you're willing to be controlled. And that's just what the truth really is. Right? That's the truth. You understand? So once we identify that, we can be able to move through it. Brother Angelo, welcome in. Good to see you. So Straitway thinks that they are set apart from the world while they are receiving food stamps, Social Security checks, and Walmart checks. What a joke. Absolutely. They're not separated. It's not come out of her, be ye separate. I don't care if you're living on your own land. If you're fully integrated in the system, if you are receiving benefits and privileges from the U.S. government, you're under their rule. You're under their thumb. They have say what they can do in your land, on your land, and a part of your life. So they say, come out of her, my people, be ye separate, but they're on EBT. They're on SNAP. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I don't knock you. Get it how you live, but be honest, be truthful. Go ahead and show up and make it make sense. You understand what I'm saying? Stand on business. Be honest about what you're doing, what you're saying, and don't try to hide the truth from the people. That's all I'm saying. And I'm standing on that. And I'm gonna
stand on that. Okay. And they can get in my DM. You can get in my DM all you want every day.
Get it how you live, man. But don't sit here and point your finger at individuals who are on a day-to-day trying to make ends meet. Men who are making it happen for their own families, men who are making it happen for themselves, whatever it may be, right? Whatever their struggles truly are. Don't come over here and start pointing the finger at them and trying to act like they're not real men when you are relying on daddy government, when you are on SNAP EBT, right? And you're trying to hide that from the people. It's like I said, listen, self-righteousness is a true drug. It's a true drug, y'all. It's a true drug. When you're being self-righteous, it's a true drug. But bless y'all. We're going to go ahead and land this plane here, man. We're going to go ahead and land this plane here. Appreciate you guys joining me here for the Warsheep Podcast, man. Listen, don't forget to like this video. We need maximum effort, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? We need a maximum effort. Don't forget to like this video. Okay?
Maximum effort.
Need maximum effort.
Maximum effort.
And you hating on me. And if you're here and you're hating on me, feel free. Feel free.
If there's any haters in here right now that don't have nobody to hate on, feel free to hate on me. Sit back there and say my hair ain't luxurious when you know it is, bitch.
Man. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this with people who need to hear this message. And holler back at your boy. Click that notification bell so you can get all the updates. All right? And we'll see you guys in the next flock, all right? On the way out, man, let's drop some ram and some sheep in the chat for all my righteous alpha men and all my elegant women who's exceptional. Bless y'all. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and shalom, shalom.